From underground house parties to sold-out concert halls, the story of how Afrobeats events became mainstream in Canada is nothing short of amazing. What started as a small movement among African students trying to recreate a sense of home has now exploded into one of the most vibrant nightlife and cultural scenes in the country. Toronto, in particular, has been the heartbeat of this transformation, the place where local DJs, event hosts, and cultural entrepreneurs decided that if Afrobeats wasn't being represented, they'd build the platform themselves. And that's exactly what they did. Back in the early 2010s, when Afrobeats was still finding its sound internationally, the Canadian party scene was dominated by hip-hop, dancehall, and pop. African students arriving from Lagos, Accra, or Nairobi often found themselves missing that familiar rhythm, that connection to home. So, they started hosting small student events, renting out lounges and community halls, spinning Wizkid, Banj, and P-Square tracks long before anyone else knew the lyrics. Those nights weren't just about music. They were cultural declarations, moments of pride that would slowly start influencing an entire generation of clubgoers. As social media grew, so did visibility. Snapchat stories, Instagram reels, and YouTube vlogs began capturing the wild energy of those events. The bright Ankara outfits, the coordinated dance moves, the way the crowd erupted when Ojalegba came on. People who had never been to Africa suddenly wanted to experience that vibe for themselves. DJs noticed the demand, promoters doubled down, and soon enough, clubs across Toronto, Ottawa, and Montreal were dedicating full nights to Afrobeats. Then came the big shift, mainstream recognition. When artists like Wizkid, Burna Boy, and Davido began charting internationally, Canadian promoters seized the opportunity. They started booking Afrobeats headliners for major venues. You'd see Burna Boy performing at Rebel, Asaki filling out History, or Wizkid shutting down Echo Beach. Suddenly, Afrobeats was no longer a niche sound. It was a movement, a major cultural force that could bring thousands of people together under one roof. But what really solidified the mainstream status wasn't just the concerts. It was the consistency of local events. Weekly club nights like Afrofusion Fridays, Afrovibe Saturdays, and Afrolituation kept the energy alive year-round. These weren't just random parties, they were pillars of community. Every week, people would come together not only to dance but to connect, network, and celebrate the culture. Event hosts became household names. DJs like DJ Damager, DJ Buka, and DJ Lissa became local legends. And it didn't stop there. Brands started paying attention too. Afrobeats events became marketing opportunities for fashion labels, liquor brands, and lifestyle companies looking to tap into this youthful, energetic crowd. Suddenly, sponsorship banners, influencer collaborations, and media coverage turned once underground events into polished, professional productions. What started with word of mouth in student WhatsApp groups was now on Eventbrite, covered by major outlets, and powered by global companies. The crossover appeal also helped fuel the momentum. Caribbean and African cultures began blending more openly, with DJs mixing Afrobeats and dancehall in the same set. The crowd didn't just come from Nigeria or Ghana anymore. They came from Jamaica, Trinidad, Barbados, and even from non-Black communities that had fallen in love with the rhythm. It became a multicultural experience where everyone was welcome, everyone was vibing, and everyone wanted to be part of it. Today, it's impossible to talk about Canadian nightlife without mentioning Afrobeats. The sound is everywhere, in college parties, on radio stations, and even at mainstream festivals. What was once considered foreign is now part of the Canadian entertainment identity. And the people who made it happen weren't big corporations or industry giants. They were everyday students, DJs, and dreamers who refused to let their sound go unheard. As the movement continues to grow, one thing's clear: Afrobeats in Canada isn't just a trend, it's a lasting cultural wave. The events aren't slowing down, they're getting bigger, more creative, and more inclusive. Toronto has become a second home for Afrobeats, and with every concert, boat cruise, and sold-out club night, the connection between Africa and the diaspora gets stronger. And if there's one thing this story proves, it's that when passion meets purpose, culture finds a way to shine, no matter where you are. So if you've ever danced at an Afrobeats night in Toronto, you're not just part of the crowd, you're part of history in the making. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories like this, because the rise of Afrobeats in Canada is only getting started.